All right, let's dive into a story about faith, but maybe not in the way you're thinking. We've got a farmer, a total disaster of a storm, and a plan that is so wild, it's almost genius. This is A Letter to God, and let me tell you, the ending is a twist you won't see coming.
Seriously, think about it for a second. Have you ever wanted something so badly, been in such a tight spot, that you came up with a plan that sounded completely nuts? Like a total long shot? Well, the main character in our story, he takes that idea and just runs with it.
Okay, so first things first, let's meet our guy. His name is Lencho, and his whole life is pretty straightforward. So picture this. Lencho lives in the only house in an entire valley. It's up on a little hill, and from his front door, he can see everything that matters to him, the river and his field of ripe corn. I mean, his whole life, his family's survival, it's all tied up in that one field.
That's it. Simple, right? The crop looks amazing, it's promising a fantastic harvest. The only thing missing, the one thing the earth desperately needs, is a good downpour. Or even just a little shower. Everything is riding on the weather. And at first it seems like everything's going his way. He's watching the sky, sees the clouds rolling in, and he's feeling great. He's totally convinced this is it, the rain that's going to secure his family's future. But, sometimes what you wish for doesn't show up in the package you expect.
And yep, here's where the story takes a massive turn. All that hope and optimism, it's about to get completely washed away.
So the rain starts, just like he wanted. But then, it changes. Big, heavy hailstones start coming down. And I'm not talking for a few minutes. For an entire hour, this ice storm just pummels everything. His house, the hillside, and his entire cornfield are just buried under this white layer, like someone dumped salt everywhere.
And that's it. It's all gone. Lencho is just heartbroken. Can you imagine? All that work completely wiped out. The corn is destroyed. He's looking at a year with no food for his family. They have nothing left.
So when you've lost everything, what's left? Well, for Lencho, this guy who worked like an ox but also, importantly, knew how to write, there was only one thing to hold on to. One single hope in all that darkness.
Now, facing starvation, Lencho doesn't just despair. He takes action, and his plan is so simple, it's almost unbelievable. He's going to write a letter. I mean, look at this. The purity of this faith is just incredible. He doesn't complicate it. He needs help, so he's going straight to the top. He calculates that he needs exactly 100 pesos, that's the currency in parts of Latin America, to plant a new crop and feed his family until it's ready. And the address on the envelope? No zip code, no street, just 2 words, to God. In the letter, he just lays it all out. He explains what happened with the hailstorm and exactly what he needs to fix it. It's direct, it's honest. He puts a stamp on it and drops it right in the mailbox. Okay, so what in the world happens when a letter addressed to God actually shows up at a post office? Well, this is where some new people enter the story, and their reaction is probably not what you're thinking. So at first, the postman sees the letter and just bursts out laughing. And he shows his boss, the postmaster, who also has a good chuckle. I mean, you can't really blame them, right? But then, almost instantly, the postmaster gets serious. He's not laughing at Lencho anymore. He's completely in awe of him. He's just so moved by this guy's unshakable faith. And this is just a fantastic moment. The postmaster comes up with this amazing idea. He thinks, I cannot let this man's faith be broken. So he decides he has to be the one to answer the letter, but then he opens it and he realizes, good intentions aren't going to be enough. This is going to require some cash. So the postmaster gets to work. He is all in. He gives up part of his own salary. He asks his employees to pitch in and even hits up a few friends for a contribution. He calls it an act of charity. It becomes this whole team effort, just a bunch of regular people trying to pull off a small miracle. So all of this kindness, this secret plan, is building up to the final moment, the big conclusion. Lencho is about to get his answer, but it's his reaction that completely flips this story on its head. But here's the thing. Even with everyone chipping in, the postmaster couldn't quite raise the full 100 pesos. He only managed to collect a little more than half, 70 pesos. He puts the money in an envelope, signs the letter with just one word, God, and feels pretty good about this whole act of kindness. Now, get ready for this. Lencho shows up to check his mail, they hand him the letter, and he doesn't show even the slightest bit of surprise. Of course God answered him. His faith is so absolute, getting a reply is just expected. But his confidence turns to pure anger the second he counts the money, only 70 pesos. And here it is, the absolute knockout punchline. Lencho immediately goes to the counter, grabs paper and ink, and writes a second letter right then and there.
When the postmaster opens it, he reads this. Lencho is so sure that God wouldn't shortchange him, so to him, there's only one logical explanation. The post office employees, the very people who sacrificed their own money to help him, must have stolen the other 30 pesos. Which leaves us with this brilliant, tricky question. Who's the hero here? Is it Lencho, whose faith is so powerful, so pure, that he can't even conceive of human kindness? Or is it the postmaster, whose genuinely good deed was completely and totally misunderstood? It's this amazing story about faith and humanity.